just one day after Honda scraps their 3-row EV. Now we have Nissan delaying again. This is probably the minimum third time they've delayed these EVs out in Canton, Mississippi. Guys, grab your snacks and drinks, buckle in. We got some Nissan talk today. We're talking about tariffs and how it's affecting the Pathfinder, the Murano, some other models that are no longer going to Canada. And then we'll also at the very end, retouch on this. I touched on this another day, yesterday or 2 days ago. I really want to keep talking about this because this has a possibility of saving Nissan. If you're new to the channel, my name is Kirk. I talk about car news just about every single day. I'm trying to keep up with it. This is the craziest time I've been doing this channel for 7 years now. And the acceleration of news, largely due to the tariff craze that's going on, as well as the pulling back of EV assistance, like the auto market is just thrown up in the air every single day. I don't know what's going to land. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but that's what makes it fun. If you guys enjoy that, make sure you are subscribed. Nissan delays launch of 2 U.S.-made EVs amid pullback of federal incentives. Okay, EV tax credit ends September 30th. This spring, Nissan announced all these new models. All right, so I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in depth right now. The new Leaf I'll be driving in the next couple months, so stay tuned for that. Even though the EV tax credit is gone, the Leaf might be okay. But again, it's not going to make money for Nissan at this point because of the tariff situation. They're all going to be built in Japan, but I think the Nissan Leaf, at least globally, could be a very successful model. The packaging's right, the styling's right, and if they get the pricing right, it could be awesome. All right, here's the new Sentra, and I will reveal it here on the channel. I can't say when. I'm pretty sure that's under embargo, but Nissan has announced that it is coming this year. All right, I can't say anything more than that. This is the new Sentra. I don't expect much from it other than for it to look good. I don't know if it's good. Like a hybrid's not in the scenario for it. It's probably just going to be CVT mated with a 2-liter or 2.5 liter. All right. So it's, from powertrain perspective, it's not going to be that great. If it's a little bit more fun to drive than the Kicks, for example, I think it's going to be a success. And if they can price it right, around $20,000 starting off, it's going to be very successful. All right. Here is the refreshed Pathfinder. The Pathfinder, they talked about it being an electric vehicle, but they canceled that idea. And the Pathfinder should get a hybrid going forward. We just don't know when. All right. And if the Pathfinder gets the V6 taken from it, I'm going to take to the streets. That's for sure. This is the vehicle more than likely delayed in this announcement today. All right. These EVs are pushed back now to 2028. Again, they could be pushed back further. They could eventually be canceled. Who knows? All right. We're about 3 years out, maybe more, before this Xterra-like EV would come out. I like it. I think it's charming. They did have a concept on this vehicle, but it may not ever come. It's pushed back to 2028, as Nissan told suppliers just recently. All right, this is just a rebadge of Mitsubishi's plug-in hybrid, the Outlander, that will be coming as a Rogue. They'll just rebadge it as a Rogue this year. And then here's the new Rogue with e-Power coming next year in 2026. I like the hexagonal daytime running lights. I think the new Rogue could absolute crush, especially if the hybrid is done right and it's done affordably. But again, I'm hearing all the hybrids are going to come over from Japan. And if that's the case, that's going to hit tariffs, right? So there's no easy button here for Nissan, obviously. This is just one of the EVs delayed. The other one is from Infiniti. Let me go and pull that up. This is the QX65, I think is what it's going to be called, coupe crossover. This is a refreshed QX60 that is already out now. Watch my driving impressions on it. Okay, and then back here, this is the EV that is delayed on the Infiniti side until 2028. Maybe later. Maybe it gets canceled. We don't know. All right. What I think they should do to Camp Mississippi, fast track the gasoline Xterra based off the Frontiers platform, which is built in Camp Mississippi. Fast track it with the big V6, and it would be eating the 4Runner's lunch. Care to disagree? I don't think it's that hard to come out with a very, very good Xterra. with a big V6. They have all the supplies for it in Canton, Mississippi. They just haven't made it happen. And the market's ripe for such a vehicle. So 10 months delayed minimum, I would say, for these two EVs. We're now expecting the Nissan one November of 2028, and then the Infiniti March of 2029. All right, because of slowing demand in the US, now we have no EV tax credit. It's going to be interesting to see what other EVs are delayed or canceled. We also saw Ford canceling and delaying EVs recently. Toyota's done it with a 3-row crossover now to 2028. All right, one of their 2 3-row crossovers. I don't understand why they need 2, but Nissan is not building the Pathfinder, Murano, or Frontier for Canada anymore. They're not shipping them over the northern border. This is very reminiscent of what Mazda is doing with the CX-50. Mazda only makes a CX-50 it's only one from Mazda in the United States that's made here. Okay. Now Nissan's taking a page out of Mazda's book. So like, we can just ship vehicles from Japan to Canada. We don't need to send them the American-made ones. And that's, it makes sense. It makes sense. So Pathfinder will have better availability stateside. Frontier, better availability, as well as Murano, because, the Murano already has crazy availability. But these three not going north of the border, and who knows? Maybe that'll happen for the Altima as well, that's built in the Canton, Mississippi plant alongside the Frontier. Infiniti, the QX60s made in Smyrna, Tennessee. I don't see them canceling that for Canada, because then they would have like one model, maybe 2 if you count the QX50, but probably just one model, which is a QX80. So they're not going to disrupt Infiniti supply to Canada from the United States. All right, so this Foxconn EV tie-up over in Japan not only would save the Opama plant from going under, because it's only at 40% utilization, not as bad as the Fiat plant in, I think it's in Milan or Turin. I think it's Turin, now that I'm thinking about it. That's only at 25% over in Italy. They're just bleeding money out of those underutilized plants for Stellantis over in Italy and other parts of Europe. But this one's still 40% production. Only 40% production capacity is very poor, and you're bleeding money. And Nissan needs to close 7 out of its 17 plants in this restructuring to save money. And this Opama plant was absolutely being considered to be killed off. There's also a subsidiary plant shown on which could also be killed off. What's sad about the Opama plant is that the surrounding parts makers would go under. Kanagawa is home to 353 Tier 1 Nissan suppliers. And those suppliers could absolutely sell the products to Foxconn as well to stay into business. The Opama plant has just one production line and has made the Leaf and the Note in recent times. But the Leaf has been transferred to the plant in Tochigi in the spring with the new generation. The Opama plant now produces only hybrids, but Foxconn could start a production of Leaf-sized EVs relatively quickly. So Nissan essentially needs Foxconn here. I bet this happens. Foxconn will start making EVs there. I bet many of the suppliers will die because they have to completely change what kind of parts they're supplying. EVs require less parts overall, or should I say less variety of parts compared to ICE cars. All right, so when you have that many suppliers supplying all these different little parts for gasoline engines and whatnot, I don't think Foxconn is going to need all the suppliers, but it would save the plant from going completely defunct, and it would save many of those suppliers from going bankrupt if Nissan shakes hands and does a joint venture deal here with Foxconn. I mean, there's also a proposal for Nissan to sell the plant to Foxconn. Nissan needs money. They've already considered selling their headquarters, so nothing's sacred to them to stay alive as an automaker. Selling the plant to Foxconn, so essentially Nissan would be renting out space there. Now, if we go back to this article here, Nissan not building Pathfinder, Murano, or Frontier for Canada, Honda might also start renting space and assembly lines from Nissan to build more domestic supply for the United States market. Honda's kind of capped. they can't really expand too much in the United States right now without building massive billion-dollar factories, right? And so Nissan has massively underutilized plants in Canton, Mississippi, as well as Smyrna, Tennessee. The easiest way to do this would be for Nissan and Honda to co-develop a vehicle together, but that takes forever. For just if you have the unity of one company, if you have two companies' visions competing for time and resources, it might take eons for domestic partnership for Honda and Nissan to manifest at one of the Nissan plants with a real product. We're just living in crazy times. It's almost like the multiverse going on right now. It's hard to fathom, and that's what's great. I love talking about this news. It's just chaos every single day. It's great for what I love doing. I love talking about car news. If you guys enjoyed that, make sure you stay tuned. I leave tomorrow morning to drive all generations, besides the new one coming out later this year for Honda, the first 5 generations of the Prelude. It's going to be nuts, and I'm excited to share that with you. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys in the comments. Have a great day, and peace.